a fugitive by the name of Michelle Angelica Pineda, also known as La Chelly. She's been captured. Finally, she has been sentenced to 50 years in prison and is known for her ultra-violent atrocities that took place in Mexico.
Estados Unidos extradita a México a La Chelly, una mujer acusada de cometer
50 years in a Mexican prison for a notorious woman gang leader who was known for her brutality and at least 5 homicides in Ciudad Juarez.
Welcome back to Grimworld. I'm your host, Devin Roberts. Today, we're going to get into the long-awaited capture of Michelle Angelica Pineda, a.k.a. La Chelly.
To breaking news and a warning, you may find the details of this story disturbing.
On December 27, 2024, La Chelly was arrested by the FBI and the U.S. Border Patrol agents in El Paso, Texas, and she was sentenced to 50 years in a Mexican prison by a Chihuahuan State judge. Michelle Pineda was sentenced along with 5 other Artistas Assessino, sicarios. These individuals were all sentenced for the crime that took place, which involved a murder of a 23-year-old Mexican national, Renteria Rodriquez. Jarod Brown, FBI El Paso special agent in charge, states, "The deportation highlighted the swift action of our agents and our partners by successfully taking a violent assassin off the streets of El Paso and putting her back into the hands of Mexican law enforcement to be sentenced for her extremely violent atrocities in Mexico." He goes on to say, working hand in hand with our partners, whether in law enforcement, the private sector, and with foreign law enforcement agencies, in paramount in order to keep people like Pineda from bringing violence and drugs into the United States and our communities. According to FBI.gov, on February 15, 2024, agents from FBI El Paso's Safe Streets Gang Task Force and the U.S. Border Patrol located and arrested Pineda at a local motel. Pineda, a Mexican national, was wanted by the government of Mexico, GOM, for her involvement in 5 homicides and suspected in multiple other homicides in Ciudad Juarez. Now, this was learned all through an active investigation. The FBI Safe Streets Gang Task Force, El Paso Police Gang Unit, El Paso Sheriff Narcotics Division, and finally the U.S. Border Patrol gained the knowledge that Michelle entered the U.S. illegally. And of course, she was operating a drug trafficking empire on behalf of the famous Artistas Assessino gang, which is located in Mexico. The Artistas Asesinos, also known as the AA, or Doblados, is a violent Mexican street gang that serves as the enforcement arm and drug trafficking operation for the Sinaloa Cartel in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and southern New Mexico. Artistas Asesinos' general role is to function primarily as foot soldiers or sicarios, hitman, for the Sinaloa Cartel during their non-stop, super grim turf wars that are always violent, that take place with rivals such as the Barrio Azteca gang, Los Aztecas, and La Línea.
Sinaloa were able to use this highly adaptable entrepreneurial structure to outcompete and outlast rival criminal groups who challenged them.
This is all over control of superior drug trafficking routes and basic local drug sales as well, especially meth. Meanwhile, La Chelly demonstrated leadership qualities and the ability to operate and manage a drug trafficking business. Michelle Pineda, La Chelly, is a bad girl. If that's the type you like. She was known for her fondness of dismembering people, extreme, unhinged brutality. Heck, she is even known for removing hearts from her victims. She would place these human hearts in front of the Santa Muerte altars and statues.
Y empezó a pedir y yo veía que todo el mundo empezaba a sacar su documentación.
What is Santa Muerte, you ask?
El culto a la Santa Muerte tiene sus orígenes en el México prehispánico. Los aztecas ya lo conocían hace más de 500 años. Hoy la Santa Muerte tiene tal vez millones de seguidores principalmente.
Well, it depicts a skeletal female figure, often with intricate details and specific colors, such as white for purity, black for banishing, red for love, green for justice and money, and finally gold for prosperity. You see, people believe honoring and what some would call leaving gifts for Santa Muerte can be thought to cut negative influences and even end bad cycles. I'm guessing Lacheli didn't realize it was her sick and evil cycles that would end, affecting her and her shady crew directly. It's just a bloody heart. Alright, so in the early mornings, all of the FBI agents, patrols, and police gang units busted into her hotel room where the scene was lit. Check this out, she had machetes, several firearms, powdered fentanyl, fentanyl pills, heroin, Xanax, cocaine, and methamphetamine, all in her hotel room, and yes, she was also there. She was then arrested by the Border Patrol and FBI and escorted to the port of entry, where she was then transferred into the custody of the Chihuahua State Police and the State Attorney General of Chihuahua. Now, according to Mexican prosecutors, Pineda, along with 4 other defendants identified as George G.M., Joanna Michelle A.G., Jacqueline S.B., and Felix Ivan L.C., have all been sentenced to prison.
She was wanted for her involvement in 5 homicides and was suspected in multiple other homicides.
According to KFoxTV.com, the group was found responsible for the death of George R.R. on December 5th, 2023. Prosecutors say that George R.R. was killed in a house in the Hacienda de las Torres neighborhood of Ciudad Juarez. Prosecutors say the group used a bladed weapon to slit George R.R.'s throat and to mutilate his body. Prosecutors say they then moved his body in some bags to the intersection of Libramiento Regional and Hacienda El Remanso in the Mezquidal neighborhood. The group will serve their sentences at the Centro de Reinserción Social de Ciudad Juarez. They were also ordered to pay over 1,500,000 pesos in restitution for damages, according to Chihuahua prosecutors. The investigation, which was released a whole year later, is the result of a multi-agency effort from the FBI task force and Texas anti-gang forces, not to mention the El Paso Sheriff's Department, police, independent school district, and even a private sector firm called Leo Technologies. Isn't it great when everyone can work together to catch a drug trafficking, serial killer, psychopath? A for effort, boys. One less mutilated body on the street.
Extreme brutality, dismembering bodies, removing hearts, and placing the hearts in front of Santa Muerte statues.
Hey, thanks for listening to Grimworld, as this is yet another reminder to stay out of trouble. Unless it's really worth it. But what could be more valuable than your heart? Please subscribe if you haven't already, and check us out on Spotify. I'm out.